through this next section. Now he's under pressure from Carlos Sainz and Sebastian Vettel. So something must be wrong with Max's car, or he really doesn't have good pace on heavy fuel. But here comes the Spaniard and the German of Sainz and Vettel. Ricciardo is getting himself into the mix as well. Into the first corner was 3 wide there for a second, 4 wide for a split second. But Turbo 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. We are back on the F1 2020 game, back in my team career mode, on our way to Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. I hope you guys are excited for this one, even though if you've been a long time subscriber to Turbo Fox Racers, you would know that Japan is one of my weak points. But that is not something we are concerning ourselves with this weekend. It's time to smash that like down below. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. Thank you very much. And now it is time to prepare for this weekend. Guys, looking towards the activities, you guys can see that I've been focusing a lot on my teammate Jack Aitken this whole career mode, guys. I still feel that he deserves an opportunity to still fight for his drive next season. For those of you guys that don't know, my ruling for Jack is if he can score 1 championship point, meaning 1 top 10 finish before the end of this season, I will rehire him for season 2. But so far, Jack has had a few occasions where he would have been able to score some points which he just hasn't converted, and we have been carrying the team throughout this season. Jack is still on 0 points. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my frustrations with Jack is really getting to a boiling point now, because I really feel that the car has been, especially at certain tracks, the car has been really strong, and I've converted massive points and Jack just hasn't. So we will have to really start talking to Jack. But you guys know it's F1, it's a brutal sport, and if he doesn't achieve what we ask of him, he will be pushed to the side, unfortunately. Now, you guys can see we've had a few upgrades come onto the car. We will check out the R&D chart as we are at the Suzuka circuit. You guys see we are the slowest in the engine department. Here I'm going to go for an upgrade. I had to wait for some resource points to come our way. I'm going for engine power. I'm not going to bother yet with fuel efficiency or the ERS. I feel at this stage the most important thing for us is raw engine power, because we are really lacking in that category. Guys, please make sure to go check out the links in the description down below to just, come say hi to me on social media, throw a few likes down there, a follow, and I will follow you back. And please go check out my other channel, which I am partnering with one of my best friends, iiTzAssassins. Make sure to go check that out, and hit that subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding the bell to never miss a future episode, because the content over there is amazing. And no, it is not racing content, it's something a bit more spunky. In any case, we are heading towards this weekend, guys, and you guys see we're still waiting for the engine upgrade, but the chassis and aero upgrades have come in. We are now very close to AlphaTauri in the performance index. Looking at the performance chart in whole, it is Mercedes AMG Petronas Racing leading the way from BWT Racing points in P2, Red Bull Racing on P3, with Ferrari right on their heels in P4. Renault and McLaren are scrapping over P4 and P5. Then AlphaTauri and ourselves at It Turbo Boosted Racing are scrapping for, P7 and 8, and then P9 and P10 is being scrapped over by Alfa Romeo Racing and Haas F1, and Williams F1 is still bringing up the rear end of the field. Now, guys, heading towards this weekend, like I said at the beginning of the video, Suzuka is not a track that I am very fond of. It's a brilliant racing facility, don't get me wrong, but it is really just a track that I do not gel with. To get a rhythm around this track, this is one of the hardest tracks on the F1 calendar, in my opinion, to get a rhythm around. You are allowed to what's the word I'm looking for? to disagree with me, but in my personal opinion, this is an extremely hard track to get a rhythm with, and it's fine for a one lap quali, but after that, with the race, it can really sometimes just bite you in the rear. And with the past 2 years games, the AI have been very powerful around Suzuka. In F1 2018, they were good around here. In F1 2019, they were absolutely overpowered here, and the overpoweredness has just gone to bigger strengths on this year's game. So I'm up for a very big challenge this weekend. And as you can see, practice already didn't start very good. It was a wet first practice, and there I bent it in the wall. Luckily, the car wasn't totaled or wrecked, but still, there was just a lot of things that went wrong for me, as you guys can see here. This little first kink in the SS catches out every single bloody YouTuber, and it caught me out. Luckily, not in qualifying, but in practice one. So we've got a lot of hard work this weekend. We are on the back foot already, but let's see if we can pick ourselves up as we head straight to qualifying. Oh yeah. So guys, jumping straight to the end of Q1, you guys can see that we are going through the final chicane. One thing that I do applaud Codemasters for this year is for taking that little bump out of the final corner, that little downhill right-hander. Guys, on the previous game, there was a big bump there in the road, and if you had your foot flat to the floor, it would spin you out and you would usually scream into the pit wall. So I'm really glad that they removed that bump. I've got a lot more confidence going down that final corner. We go to the end of Q1. Jack actually makes it through into Q2 along with me, but he at this stage is about 2 tenths quicker than myself, 2.5 tenths quicker than me. So Jack has showed up this weekend. Remember, this is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix, guys. Honda is our engine supplier, and this is their home Grand Prix for Honda being Japanese. So, you guys, keep a hold of it. You guys see that on my first lap in Q2, didn't get the big exit coming out of the S section, well, the S's, and yeah, I still finished the lap. I do not know why. I knew I was going to be last, but I still finished the lap to actually figure out where the grip levels were, and the track was definitely more grippy than in Q1. So on my final set of fresh softs, unless we make it into Q3, I was going to go balls to the wall.
Standing by.
And I realized that I didn't pronounce that properly. What I said was balls to the wall. I'm sorry about that. And as you can see, as we head to the end of Q2, it has become overcast, which made me panic a bit. But nevertheless, let's go around this beautiful Suzuka racing facility for a hot lap. Here we go. Enter the T1, Q1, beautiful turbo. You guys can see it's a very, very light braking zone. You enter the corner full speed flat out, and then heading into the S's. This is where the two front tires absolutely scream to be released, because this is absolutely painful. Here we go through the S section, through the right hand. This is where I lost it earlier in qualifying. We come through there in beautiful fashion. Now heading towards this right-handed kink into an immediate right-hander. Mount the curb on the inside and the outside for the next one as well. Get the power down as early as possible. We're already 2 seconds up from our time, but still, remember, we made a massive mistake on our first flying lap in Q2. Through the hairpin, I seem to get better traction than the AI at that hairpin, so I'm going to use that to my best extent this weekend. And now you can see on the outside, heading in towards the spoon curve, and then towards the most famous corner of this track, 130R. Through the spoon curve, onto the power really early, mount the curb on the outside to make sure you get the best possible speed coming out of there. I did lose a bit of time there. I had a better exit there on my first lap, which had the mistake. Through the famous corner, 130R, where Fernando Alonso passed Michael Schumacher around the outside there in a flat out manner. Oh my word, my English today is terrible. Through the final chicane, heading towards the line, hug the inside, open up DRS, and it's P14. Okay, guys, we knew I wasn't going to get out of Q2. Jack is P16, so we gained half a second on Jack. How did we do that? Or Jack just went slow. I didn't actually look specifically at his time in Q1, but it's clear that we did go quicker than Jack because we're ahead of him. So, guys, yeah, Charles Leclerc is my rival. I couldn't avoid a rival any longer because I'm so high up in the championship. I have to choose a worthy rival. But Charles is going to completely hand my hiney to me. But without further ado, let's head straight to the Japanese Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Now, I want to ask you about Jack Aitken. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc and Vettel, Sainz, Stroll, Norris and Alexander Albon, Ricciardo, Parker, Pierre Gasly and Grosjean, Magnussen, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen, Latifi, Russell, Kvyat and Jack Aitken. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
That is the idea, Jeff. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done it yet, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future episode here on Turbo Fox Racers. Now, guys, going for the risky one-stop mediums to softs. I don't think we're going to be able to pull that off, but otherwise we'll just go from mediums onto hards. But as I was just constructing this, I realized that, yeah, mediums to hards might be the right way to go. But, guys, we'll figure it out as we go along in the race. So, without further ado, you guys know the drill. Jam with me on the warm-up lap and let's get ready for this Japanese Grand Prix. Woo! Japanese Grand Prix as we head to 5 red lights, and it's go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Mercedes front row lockout between Bottas and Hamilton. Bottas gets a fantastic start on his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen moves his Red Bull into P3 with the racing points of Sergio Perez in P4. Through the first corners, no side-by-side action, which is a little bit disappointing because Suzuka always gives us some brilliant side-by-side action. You've got Sebastian Vettel and Carlos Sainz going side-by-side through the S section, but Carlos gets the best of Sebastian through this next part. You've also got the other Ferrari of Leclerc pressuring Perez in the racing Racing Point, and then there's a bunch of action going backwards. We will jump back to my POV for my start in just a second, guys. Underneath the bridge goes Valtteri Bottas as he continues his leading first lap. We jump back to the POV of Daniel Ricciardo, who started a car ahead of me, guys. And guys, look at the launch that Ricciardo has. He has to avoid Norris there, who swerves very violently to the left-hand side. He avoids it, goes side by side with Lance Stroll, tries to go right around the outside. Stroll gives him a bit of a pinch to the outside. But as we enter into the S section, Ricciardo is just so brave with that Renault, and he sticks it up the inside to the outside, back to the inside for the left-hander, and he's almost done the move. Here comes Stroll is on the outside, but Daniel Ricciardo, the honey badger himself, makes Stroll know who is boss in that situation. We jump back to our POV, and you guys can see that Ricciardo just bolts off the line. That Renault had a fantastic start. I nearly get boxed in by Alex Albon and Lando Norris. It was 4 wide for a split second there. Heading into the first quarter, Albon just drives and squeezes me to the inside. I force my way up the inside, get past the McLaren of Norris. But heading into this first S, you guys are going to see I get a massive tank slapper. I have to catch the car, and Albon doesn't need to be asked twice to take that position back from me. And that is now the Red Bull of Albon back ahead of me. So we've only made up 1 position in the first few quarters. That is very uncharacteristic for myself, but we are going to be right behind Albon as we head into this next section. And also, he's going to be pressurizing Stroll, who's going to be pressurizing Ricciardo, but we go up the inside of Albon through that double right-hander. Now heading in towards the hairpin. Once again, can we be late onto the brakes? We go around try and go around the outside of Stroll. We're going to try and get the power down on the exit, but Stroll leaves us room on the outside. We will have the inside for this next part. We get the move done on Lance Stroll, and we now go chasing after Daniel Ricciardo. I think we're on to the points now, guys. I think it's literally P10. But once again, like I told you guys the previous Grand Prix, actually it was after Singapore. Yeah, after I won the Singapore Grand Prix. I honestly don't care what happens the rest of this season, because we have had the dream rookie season. Even if I finish every race from now on outside the points, I honestly won't mind, because I know this season cannot get any better. I've literally had I've had a beautiful Christmas present with this season. Let me put it that way. So I'm not going to be bummed if I don't get points. Be slightly bit disappointed, because I know the car is capable of points, especially when you look at the aero and chassis. But we've got the crappiest engine. So like I said, I won't be mad, but we're still going to try and get points, because that's how we roll. We roll like this. Sorry. We look at Sergio Perez. He is going for a move on Max Verstappen. Is the Racing Point really that quick? Through 130, it's still side by side between Perez and Verstappen as we head into the final chicane. Red Bull v 2019 Mercedes around the outside tries to go Verstappen. It's now going to be a drag race towards the first corner. Mercedes power v Honda power, and they've got Charles Leclerc right behind them, trying to put them under pressure. Here comes Charles in that nerfed Ferrari. He tries to go around the outside of Verstappen. Will he get Perez as well? No, he won't get Perez as much, but Verstappen is squeezed to the inside by Leclerc. Damn, I'm swapping names today. There we go. Leclerc gets a beautiful move down there on Verstappen. And Verstappen doesn't just lose 1, but he loses 2 whole positions there. And I'm sure Max is not going to be happy about that. Through this next section, now he's under pressure from Carlos Sainz and Sebastian Vettel. So something must be wrong with Max's car, or he really doesn't have good pace on heavy fuel. But here comes the Spaniard and the German of Sainz and Vettel. Ricciardo is getting himself into the mix as well. Into the first corner was 3 wide there for a second, 4 wide for a split second. But Verstappen loses out to Sainz, Vettel, and will he lose out to Ricciardo as well? As you guys can see that I'm coming from behind, sliding around with my rear end, trying to get onto the back of these guys. Verstappen luckily defends against his former Red Bull teammate Daniel Ricciardo. But oh my word, what a sequence of moves. This happened so quickly, I couldn't commentate quick enough. You guys can see, there goes Sainz. Vettel just absolutely slipstreams in. They get startled by Ricciardo, and there it was 3 wide for a second there, but as those guys had to back off to actually make the 3 wide work into turn 1, Sainz just launched away. That was absolutely beautiful racing from all 4 of those drivers. GG's, Verstappen, Vettel, Sainz, and Ricciardo. But now here you guys can see something has to be wrong with Max's car, guys. That Red Bull is not this slow. It is definitely quicker than the Renault and the McLaren, as well as the Ferrari. I can understand the Racing Point because it is the 2nd strongest car in the performance chart, but I didn't expect Max to be this slow, so there's definitely a problem with that Red Bull car. A very, very big heartbreak for Honda at their home Grand Prix. Between our team, Red Bull Racing, and AlphaTauri, they're not having the best of times. Albon is outside the points. Verstappen is about to be outside the points. And AlphaTauri are fighting at the back, just not having a very good race so far. So here we go. Ricciardo finally gets the move done on Verstappen around the outside as we head into the first corner. Beautiful move there from Verstappen. You guys can also see that my teammate Aitken had a penalty and started this race in last position. So reliability issues there for my teammate. But here we go, guys. Aitken around the outside as we head into 130. Before we get to the corner, he gets the move done on the Williams. Beautiful move there from Jack. But with all due respect, I know our car is better than the bloody Williams. So he needs to pull his finger out of his rear end because he's really making it hard for me to want to sign him for season 2. Here we go to the first quarter. The two harsh drivers of Grosjean and Magnussen are fighting hammer and tong. And as you guys can see, Magnussen actually keeps fighting with his teammate. I'm sure Gunther Steiner is not enjoying this, but beautiful racing from these two veterans of this. Okay, not veterans, but very, very good talents for the sport, which we will not be seeing racing in 2021. No, yeah, 2021. I can't believe it's already 2020. Yeah, guys, I'm a year behind. Just leave me alone. No, I'm joking. But yeah, here goes Grosjean around the outside of Magnussen. And that was a beautiful sequence there between the two Haas drivers. I nearly said Rich Energy, but that was the sponsor for them last year. Now we jump on board with the race leader, guys. Valtteri Bottas has entered the pit lane off of the softs. And I think that's a second set of soft tires. Really, Mercedes? Really? Why? Why did you go for a second set of soft tires? Guys, the two-stop here at Suzuka is really slow. Yes, you've got to have grip, but it's already hard enough to overtake you. And now they want to do a two-stop on a track where the one-stop is like 10, 15 seconds quicker. Even if you go from mediums to hards or hards to mediums, whatever your strategy may be, a two-stop is really not the way to go here. Hamilton comes in to go from softs onto hards. Here comes Leclerc to go also from softs to hards, and I think the same will go for Carlos Sainz. Even the guys that pitted behind Bottas, which I think was Leclerc and I can't remember if it was this Ferrari, Leclerc or Vettel, I don't know. But it indicates the people who pitted behind Bottas also went for the one stop and went onto the hard tires. Perez is now released into the lead of this Grand Prix. There's a little bit of a jump in the replay there, guys. I excuse that. The Racing Points actually think that Sergio Perez can make this race work on a one stop from softs to mediums. Holy cannoli, that is a big jump. That is a very big jump. So good luck for Racing Point. Will they do the same with Lance Stroll, though? Because Stroll is known to be harder on his tires than Perez. And actually, no. They are doing the same. Even though Stroll is known to be harder on his tires than Sergio, Stroll is also going for the one stop from the softs onto the mediums. So guys, when I saw that, obviously I was staying out the longest on my mediums, but there was not really much for me to be able to do, so I stayed out on my mediums as long as possible. But I'm not going to lie to you guys, the softs I could see would not make it to the end, so I just played the safe game, strapped on a set of white-walled hard tires, and now from lap 14 onwards, we need to try and play the catch-up game.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, we actually come out still in the points. We come out in P9, right behind Verstappen and Stroll. So you guys can see Max is really struggling this whole race. We come out ahead of Norris and Vettel with a significant gap with them behind us. So we're really not in a bad spot. We jump back on board with Bottas, guys. Nothing happened in Bottas' second stint. He goes from a second set of softs onto mediums. But guys, he was going to fall so far behind. I even thought that he was going to be behind me. You guys can see it now. This is actually Verstappen and Stroll fighting. Verstappen is actually staying with Stroll on the harder tire. So Verstappen has really found some pace. I just think the Red Bull is really bad on heavy fuel. I think that's all there is to it. They must not have enough chassis upgrades to maintain the tires on heavy fuel. I don't know. But that first half of the Grand Prix, Verstappen was absolutely nowhere. I mean, I was matching Max after Ricciardo overtook him lap by lap by lap. I actually checked the race director, and some laps I was even beating Max. I just didn't have enough to actually catch him and overtake him. But let's run through the top 10, guys. Hamilton is leading the way from Sergio Perez in P2. A little bit of a jump in the camera there. Sorry about that. Charles Leclerc in P3 for Ferrari, with Carlos Sainz P4 for McLaren. Then it's Ricciardo P6. P7 is Stroll. P6 is Stroll. P7 is Verstappen. P8 it is actually Bottas chasing them down. I'm still in P9, so 2 points for me for now. I'm satisfied with that. And Lando Norris is 10th in the second McLaren. Now you can see we actually go on board here with Esteban Ocon, the second Renault, who's struggling outside the points, along with Alexander Albon. We head down the straight. Oh, man, it let go. Let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Sorry, I had to. I love that movie. Okay, guys, so Ocon is out of this race, and this has triggered a safety car. So, guys, I had nothing to lose. I dove into the pit lane, and now I was going to strap on a set of soft tires. Yes, I was going to lose positions, but honestly, I did not care. Because, yeah, guys, it would have been an easy thing for me to stay in P9, but I would not have had the pace to contend for even more points on those hard tires. So I really just had to take a gamble. So this is the gamble we are taking for this race.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Thank you, Jeff. We come out in P17, and guys, I'm not gonna lie, that is when I realized, oh foofy, not the best thing in the world. Because now we've got a massive job ahead of us, but we do indeed have fresh soft tires against a handful of medium runners and a lot of hard tire runners. So grip, I had more grip than I think everybody combined on the track. So you guys can see I'm already trying to have a look at Kimi Räikkönen. The sooner I got past the Alfa Romeo, the better, because I still had to get into the points. I'm P17. Through the final chicane, you can see I'm side by side with Kimi Räikkönen. Down the final corner. Oh, Kimi actually gives you a little bit of a bump there as we head down the hill towards the first corner. It's the Honda v Ferrari powered drag race. His teammate Antonio Giovinazzi joins in the fight. Into the first corner. It's 3 wide. Giovinazzi backs out of it. We are right around the outside of Kimi Räikkönen, and that is what new tires, new soft tires does for you. That was a fantastic move around the outside of Kimi Räikkönen. Now we jump on board with the Alpha Tauri of Pierre Gasly, and actually Albon, we go up the inside of not one but two drivers. We catch Albon and Gasly napping. Was this Kvyat? I'm not actually sure who this is. I think this is Kvyat, but in any case, not the point. Let's that was absolutely fantastic. What a move, double move. You guys can see I love this little hairpin. Magnussen is right ahead of me. We go up the inside of K-Mag, and that's another beautiful move up the inside. But as you guys can see on the top of the screen, it's already lap 24 of 27, and I am running out of time to start making these moves. And one thing that I did struggle a lot with, guys, if you guys had a keen eye and watched the bottom right of the screen, I was suffering with engine temperatures this whole race. Even if I would just keep the car in standard sometimes, for some other reason, my engine kept overheating. Especially if I was in traffic. Now, obviously, I know if you're in traffic and you leave the car on rich, you will overheat. And me and Grosjean just made hefty contact there, but not the point. And this is just why especially why I couldn't catch up to Verstappen at the beginning of the Grand Prix. Because every time I would get within 1.5 seconds, even if I'm in standard mixture, I would tend to overheat, get to 125, 126 degrees Celsius. And if I then tried to flipping it to rich, I would absolutely cremate the engine. So I really, that was my I want to say my death sentence for this race, if I can put it that way. Because after I made the move on Magnussen and Grosjean, yeah, nothing happened, because then again, the engine was overheating no matter what I did, especially because I was stuck in traffic, and my gamble, as you guys can see, did not pay off. We have had an absolutely massive brain fart, but still, Suzuka, as usual, has provided some fantastic racing. You guys see, there's actually Sainz trying to chase down who is actually ahead of him. There's a Ferrari of Leclerc, and right behind him, he's also got pressure from Ricciardo. So these three are fighting for the final podium positions, because Hamilton and Perez have absolutely waltzed away after the safety car restart. Hamilton, we all know Suzuka is Hamilton's favorite track on the F1 calendar, guys. He has actually admitted that in real life. He's going to take a dominant win here because of Valtteri Bottas' City 2 stop. Then you're going to have Perez P2, and Charles Leclerc is just going to hang on to P3 from Sainz P4, Ricciardo P5, Stroll P6, Verstappen P7, Bottas is in P8, P9 will be Norris, P10 will be Vettel, and then P11, P11, I'm not sure who that is, I think it's Gasly, and we come home in a disappointing P12.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
So, let's review the drivers' standings. This result narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Well, for me, it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the boring choice at this point, but you can't argue that he's a driver deserving of his reputation.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? Interesting result today. Would you say that you're happy with your performance? What exactly was it you weren't happy about? Do you have any comments about the collisions? Appreciate your time.
Guys, yes, it did happen. Our first non-points finish in an absolute age. I honestly can't remember the last time we didn't finish within the points. But guys, like I said, this season has been an absolutely unforgettable season. And we have raced some fantastic races. Like literally, if the season ends now, I'm not going to complain because we are 5th in the Drivers' Championship with like my own driver, and we are 4th in the Constructors. I do think that Racing Points are going to catch up to us. I think we will be demoted to 5th. But guys, just realize this. Our first ever season in Formula One, we are only 2 points ahead of Racing Point. But we are 4th in the Constructors, 5th in the Drivers' Championship. That is unheard of for a rookie team in Formula One. I honestly don't even think Haas back in 2016 on their debut season, which they had an absolutely spectacular debut season, I don't even think they did this good. So I honestly just want to, I'm speechless. Look guys, we've got 2 victories under our belts and 1, 2, 3 podiums already. That is how good this season has gone. 3 podiums and 2 of them are wins for our rookie season. I honestly can't complain because if I complained, that would make me a bad team boss. This team has done wonders. And yes, I might be carrying the team by myself at this stage. Jack has been doing squat. But at least we know that we can perform. We just need a teammate that can match us and actually rival us. But for now, we'll see what Jack can do, guys. There's still 4 rounds left. We've got America, Mexico, then we're going to Brazil, and then finally we're going to end of the season at Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. So Jack has still got 4 rounds to go. Guys, honestly, I'm only going to give him 2 more rounds. By Brazil, I know I've said I'll give him till the end of the season, but I really thought that he would at least, have like a few P11, P12 finishes that he's close to the points that I can see there's progress. But I think he's had maybe 1 or 2. So literally, as you guys are watching this episode, Jack has got till the end of Mexico to score points. Otherwise, I will be booting him out of its turbo boosted racing, and we will be signing somebody new. Okay, guys, but that has been this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. A very action-packed race from ourselves and the other AI. It's been a good one. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. Make sure to go check out a bunch of the playlists on this channel so you guys can see all the racing content that there is to watch. Make sure to check out the link in the description down below just to go check out my social medias, as well as my second channel that I'm running with one of my best friends, iiTzAssassins. Assassins. Forza Watch Gaming is booming, and for you guys from Turbo Fox RacerZ that have been supporting us, thank you so much. And guys, finally, if you are new to the channel and this is your first time feasting your eyes on this fantastic racing content, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never ever miss a future episode here on Turbo Fox RacerZ. It's been a fantastic one, guys. 4 rounds to go. It is gonna be a crazy into the season. Let's see what happens. I love you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers!